Good morning. So it's been a while since I've done a live chat. I do live chats because it is easier than uploading. No. Um, 3 weeks in on quarantine, not busy. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm getting my coffee, and then I'm gonna go sit on the porch with you from the house. But I've been sewing. This is my 3rd week of sewing. But here's one of our projects we do at night. You know those color books? I have them somewhere. The color books, we use those a lot. I don't think I did this unlisted. Hopefully I didn't. But then at the same time, I might go faster if I did. We use those color books that I've had forever. Those with the watercolors. So there's another one. I'm not coughing because I'm sick. I'm coughing because I have horrible acid reflux. Here we go. These books. I bought them a while back. And I've had these, I think, from Michael's years and years. And so we just kind of paint them. That's another cool one we have. Kind of finding a stash of goodies I've had for a long time. Good morning. So, it's crazy the number of ways you're spending your social distancing. I know for me, my neighborhood, or I want to say locally, so we can chat. Good morning. So I will honestly tell you, I woke up this morning and I cried. And I cried and I cried and I cried this morning. Just the tears ran down my face this morning. From exhaustion. I'll show you what my kids are doing now. They're sitting through, what is that one called? Number blocks?
Yeah.
So I love Alpha Blocks. Good morning, Compass. I love Alpha Blocks, and my kids have found more for them than for understanding that concept of math. All right, so I digress because that's what I do. I'm slowly making my way out. I'm going to give you a beautiful background, and I promise to try not to rock because that's hard. Well, my arm's not that long. All right, so I know it's going to get asked. The cough is acid reflux. I cannot get my acid reflux to balance, and it causes this like tickle in my throat constantly of a burn. At night it gets bad. I've been trying good morning. I've been trying to take different stuff. I finally got to the point of taking, I'm doing this 14-day regimen. Have y'all ever done it? What is your success? Because mine's poor. So I haven't been, that's not going to work if the light keeps going on back and forth. I haven't done, I haven't had rest. I don't know. How is your, if you're in a state that is social distancing, how is your social distancing going? Oh, I think I'm going to set you up 3 weeks. I'm going to say 3 weeks because, I'm going to say 3 weeks. I might have to get my glasses because, that's how long I've been sewing. So I know that there's some people in my area that are having a hard time what to do with themselves. They're just kind of sitting there watching the news, or they don't know what to do with themselves. And I have to say, hey, Green Gables, you made it. I've been trying for like the last 2 weeks to do a live video, and I've literally, it's either sewing or it's schoolwork or something crazy. I'm in South Texas. I haven't seen anyone in so long. Groceries are hard to get. Oh man. All right, so I'm going to tell you my secret trick I found to getting groceries from Walmart. All right, so here it is. So um you're going to be at least 2 days out. It's not like before where you're like, "Oh, I can go that day." You're about 2 days out. Hey, give me my glasses. She's Give me my glasses.
What?
Will you get me my glasses
Okay.
off my dresser? Now I can read the comments. So, Walmart pickup, if you have a Walmart pickup in your area, you might find that you can't get a spot to fill in. My sister's sewing masks. She's having a hard time. I don't make mine with elastic at all. I'll show you that in a minute. So what if you can't get a date, ooh, you're Michigan. Are you under, walk around and bring me my glasses. Don't play. I won't lie. I'm really enjoying having my kids home. She's so funny.
I'm smart now.
I was so upset yesterday. Did a pickup and they canceled half my order and no substitutions. It was crazy. All right, so here's the trick that has worked so far for me. Is what I do is I go and I pick a time. And then it kind of shows you what's available. Our Walmart constantly says no pickup days available for the next 7 days. I try other Walmart locations and it's the same. All right, so number one, I know this is crazy. Fill your cart up. Oh, why does it keep doing that? I can't decide. I must have too much in the background. So fill your cart up, and then wait. Granted, stuff's not going to be there, but whatever. At midnight, they reset the dates, if that makes sense. They reset the pickup time. So that's your next opportunity to get pickup times. It sets at midnight. So stay up, set at midnight. Next, build your basic shopping cart. And try and get the first hour or second hour pickup that you can of the day. So that means they're going to pick it before the store opens. So after the store closes, before the store opens, they're going to pick it. A lot of times, I think my son is watching me on YouTube. Yeah, he is. See him through the thing. This is driving me nuts, the lighting. Yeah, he is. Thank you, son. All right. So the night before your pickup, I'm going to have to change. The night before your pickup, these are my little tricks. I don't know how guaranteed they are, but they're my little tricks. Because, like, listen. I'm fancy over here. I'm using paint cans to prop myself up. All right, let's try this way. And let's hope we don't get it. All right, so set your basic cart. Set the first or second hour of the morning, the day, for pickup. If you can't get a pickup time, wait till midnight when they reset to get the one. Okay, so the next aspect is go, and it will tell you, like, you have until 1 a.m. to update your shopping cart, right? You have till 1 a.m. the day of pickup or whatever the date is. Now, after that store closes, so what store closes at 8 o'clock? I don't know what time it closes. 8 p.m. or whatever. Wait about a half hour, and the numbers should restock on what they have. Now go, and now the trick is you just start a second shopping cart, and you add the things you want to add, and then you add that to your existing order. And that has worked for me the 1 or 2 times I've done it. That is my little tidbit on how to do your Walmart shopping. I'm hoping that helps you guys. Has anybody kind of figured out that method for themselves too, or something similar, like their little tips and tricks to get their Walmart pickup? Hopefully you figured out something. Coming in and out, in and out, in and out. So this morning I woke up, and it was one of those times where you wake up and you feel the weight of the world. I've been sewing. I have the 6 kids home. 2 are officially homeschooled. The 4 were in school. One's VPK. The 3 that were in school, kindergarten 6 and 8, are doing distance learning. And the VPK, they kind of put out like, hey, here's what we would cover this week. Here you go, and you can look at that online. But there's no resources outside of that. She's swinging. And she's that little, she's far away in that little bit. See how far she is? And that little bit changed the light. All right, so that hasn't helped for Costco. I haven't tried, we're trying, yes, but it hasn't helped. Stinks. We're trying to brave Costco today. Godspeed. So I have, the gamut of some are in doing the distance learning, some are homeschooling, and one's kind of not anything. And it has been an adventure, enough to pull my hair out. The first week or two, I questioned whether we should continue this route. Or the week I found out, the week before it started, but the week I found out, I'm like, well, let's see what happens and keep going. My one that was homeschooled, she's FLVS, and she does the Florida, FLVS is Florida Virtual School. She takes a couple classes on there. The only thing that's changed for her is all the live classes have ended. So I'm thinking they have a huge influx of students that came in. I can only assume, and they're not doing any more live classes. That's live video classes that they were doing. It has been a roller coaster with the middle school kids because there's such a large number of teachers, and I don't know how well they're communicating with each other on what they're handing out. And so we had a couple days where they were like overburdening. Everybody had a lot to give and they want it done that day. And then they lighten up, so they're really, I think, learning to work through it. Some of them are not high-tech teachers and they're figuring it out. We've done very well on the kindergarten end. She kind of lays out the week and there's a couple things they check in on, and then she gives them tasks and she wants a picture, and that's been really, really well. And I've enjoyed the resources. Will you stop swinging? How about you don't? Hey, you know what you can do? Did you get your handwriting and cursive, or handwriting and spelling done? Will you please get off the swing? I don't think you're trying that hard. And then you can start working on emptying out the living room. Yep. I know. Sorry, doing a little parenting. In Michigan, they say the schoolwork doesn't technically count. They are using it for busy work and say they're just going to pass the kids along. Here in our state, or our district, I think our state, it's between the parent. It's the parent's ultimate decision. I'm hoping the parents would converse with the teachers to get their opinion, and the parents decide whether the kids pass or fail. So that is their method of moving on. I do feel like it's a lot of busy work. My son and I were talking about that yesterday. It's kind of, as long as you do the work, you get a grade of 100% if you did the work. Except he did one the other day that he didn't get 100%, so I'm not all the way there. I have 3 grandchildren in kindergarten, and they are in contact with their teacher. And I kind of told him, I said, this is one of those situations that you're provided the resources, but whether you learn or not is really up to you. And you're providing. I've added, my kids can clean up their handwriting, and I teach them cursive anyways. And they don't do a spelling curriculum anymore. And on the spelling curriculum, I'm still going to move you. On the spelling curriculum, I feel like that one, I pulled up spelling curriculum, doing spelling that way. So I've kind of added to them because I feel like that's important. Um, that's important. But I'm all about, I understand like there's a lot of kids that aren't busy, but I'm running into like my kids are. Last week we built fence that we've been needing to build. This sun's about to drive me crazy. We built fence that we needed to build. We've got a garden started. We're still working on a house. So, but then I feel bad for the kids that don't have that lifestyle. I feel my heart breaks for the families that are in condos. They're in condos or apartments and how they're handling it. Am so thankful. And I told my kids, I'm like, can you imagine your friends who live in apartments right now? This is horribly rough. But I don't know. So the middle school ended up evening out, and I feel like they give them enough to hold them accountable. And for me as this mom, I'm thankful that they don't give too much, so it allows me to focus on where they need to work on. You know, some of them is building better sentences, um, handwriting, spelling, understanding grammatical context. That those like chunky parts that you would think we'd know by now, but some of us have a hard time getting there. So we've been doing that, and then we're still obviously moving in, moving out, moving in, and getting the house situated. And it is full time. So this morning, going back to this morning, I'm tired. I'm just tired. My neighbor and I have been making the mask. I should have got the mask. We've been sewing the mask, and I'll go get one, and I'll kind of lay out the details of them. And she sews the final part, so I send them to her, and it kind of keeps me on my toes and holds me accountable because, um, hey, oh, I got one of those ants on me. Being out here. I'm so sorry. I know I'm a little bit all over the place. I'm not very organized, very planned or thorough. I'm just kind of winging life right now, probably with a lot of you. Feeling rough. Um, okay. So my neighbor and I we social distance, spray them, you know, Lysol or whatever. So this is our mask. It's 7 inches across. I think it comes to 5 once it's pleated. Let's see. Um, 1.5, 3, 4.5, 4.5 inches. So it starts off as 9 inches, and then once it's pleated, it's 4.5 inches. There's no elastic, and then this is just we stay stitch and bind it, and then we put these are about 40 inches long. I'm not going to put it on because this is going to somebody. So it folds up, and because of it kind of reminds me of a diaper. Those oak ants are awful. It kind of reminds me of a diaper. So it sits here and it will come under your chin all the way. And I don't know how I got busy here too. Baby goats to feed, mama and yearling to garden to plant, yard work, and oh, the dryer broke. Back to clotheslining. Oh, because of the way they cup out, they fit over the N95s really well. So I have 2 live videos I did a week and a half, 2 weeks ago that show the process of how to make these. It's just fabric and thread. And I figured you can get about, what did I figure? 2.5, no, about 4 or 5 masks per yard of fabric. A little late getting up here this morning. Hope y'all are doing well. We're making it. So we've made 226. We've handed out 226. But So I spent last night cutting the fabric because I'll cut tons. I mean, I had this mask part, the fabric I'd cut was this thick. I mean, no, it was the length of my fingers, so that thick. And I spent last night ironing and pleating about 22 of these, of that stack, and then making the bias tape and getting the bias tape ready. So then I did that till about 11 o'clock as I was walking my oldest daughter on. She's on the computer and she's filling out her application for the state college here locally. And she is working on that, and we're walking through there, and she's showing me she's doing career research as a class, and that has been a neat one. She's like, we thought it would be something different, but it's done a really great job of building her soft skills. And so she was showing me some of her schoolwork. Well, I did that till 11 o'clock last night. And then I just fell asleep. I was so exhausted. I went to bed, I fell asleep, and I woke up. And it's one of those where it's like, in order to do all the things to get done today, I need to crawl in bed or crawl out of bed and get going. And so what I try to do is I go till about 9 a.m. prepping mask. So this morning it was just, I've already pleated these, so it was sewing this part on each side of the mask and ironing these so they can go off to the neighbor to do her part. So I did that till 9 a.m., from 7 to 9 a.m. And I'm going to give you kind of a little insight to just Trish and her husband in marriage and stuff. So this morning, I felt the weight of the world. I will tell you, I kind of don't know what to believe, and I feel like there's a lot of non-truth being said on every side, and it makes me nervous. It makes me really nervous, and I try to just watch the local news, but this morning I was up a little late. I was up at 7, so they'd already went to the national news. And the national news is starting to feel like it's just emotionally wants you to literally have these highs and lows and highs and lows and highs and lows. And this morning, got up there and I'd heard this guy that was on last night. They repeated the same news cycle, which they do that so people will get a chance to see it. And I just felt like my soul was being drug down the road with gravel and dirt, just pulverizing it. It just, or a meat grinder, like my soul was being wrenched through a meat grinder of despair. Great way to wake up, right? And I was like, well, that's enough of that. So I lasted about 4 seconds on, not maybe 3 minutes on the TV, on the news, and I turned it off. And I had, I called for my little Echo box to play me music. And it's funny because one of the things that's really happened to me is this coming back to God. Not that I've ran away from him, but I wasn't being very attentive. And I feel like that they are exploiting a true emergency to nudge the population into relinquishing many of our freedoms. I feel that way too. And I feel like there's the other side, like popping the truth out, but I don't know if they're popping the whole truth either. I read the Bible daily. I feel like this is Bible prophecy. So do I. So do I. So I've gotten to the point, I'll say, play me music. And when it plays music, I realized I don't want to listen to that worldly music. And when I say worldly music, I didn't think much of it before. I mean, a lot of times it was playing, I don't know, some of the older music. But in this time and place, when I listen to the words of that music, it doesn't send my soul to Jesus. And oh, here comes a plane. Little plane. It doesn't send my soul to Jesus. And I realize more and more I want to send my soul to Jesus daily. So I quickly changed it, and it was so funny. I ended up requesting. So a lot of times I'll listen to bluegrass gospel, and I just asked for gospel this morning. I got modern gospel, which is not something I listen to ever. So it was kind of a nice surprise. And it's Kirk Jackson, I think it was. I Smile. If y'all get a chance, he's on YouTube. There's a on YouTube. It's Kirk something. I Smile. Just type I Smile Kirk, and you'll get it. And so I'm sitting there and I'm sewing, and it's just like I sew because I'm obeying the commandment that God has put on my heart to make these masks. That's why I'm sewing. I'm not relaxed by it, and I'm not. I'm exhausted, and I'm sewing, and in many ways, it feels like such a little task. It feels like such a little task, and yet my friends are sending me pictures of the nurses wearing them, and it makes me bawl. That how thankful they are to have them, and how I'm making a big I'm giving them I'm loving them the way I can love them, and I'm making a big impact um, to them where they're at, and it feels like such a tiny thing I'm doing. Um, so that had me like a bit just like tenderhearted last night, and then this morning I'm so kind of just exhausted with the weight. I don't really want to be sewing, but it's my moment that I need to sew in order to get life, to maintain life going as it should. And my husband and I handle stress very differently. And in saying that, he gets very, productivity is what keeps him stress free, which he's still in stress, but he's very stressed out. And it's hard because, he's essential, but he can see what's coming. He can see what's coming by the economy stopping. He can see what it's going to do to his workers. He can see what it's going to do to the projects that he has. So as engineers, we're deemed essential. And he's getting a good vibe, and he's stressing out. And when he's stressing out, he begins doing a to-do list. Okay, so in my self-pity of the moment this morning, I feel like I can feel the weight it's got to show on me. I can feel the weight of just the world right now on my shoulders, on my head, on my heart, on my face. I know you should be able to see this. And in his moment of dealing with his stress, he's talking about all the things I should be doing. These are the things that need to get done. And for him, in his stressed out moment, I have to make sure you understand how important this is. And I felt like a peg being driven into the ground. Every task, boom, just going deeper and deeper in the ground. That's how I kind of emotionally felt. And I also understand, like, in his thing, he's not seeing me. And so he left, and my heart felt heavier. And I just cried and cried about nothing more than the weight of my heart. Of, God, I know you've got what's going on. I know this is a part of your plan. I know that there's great and amazing things are going to come out of this. But I won't lie, I'm scared. I'm not terrified of the COVID-19. I'm just nervous. Not nervous because I have complete faith that it's for his glory. It's in his, it's in it all. But from here, tomorrow's going to look so different. And when this is done, it's going to look so different. And it makes me think about the things I was complaining about March 10th. that didn't mean anything. You know what I mean? That what I thought I had a care in the world about doesn't seem like a big deal right now. You know what I mean? Um, it kind of, I'm kind of dealing with those things. And I keep kind of going back to the 1918 pandemic. Where I live in this little community, there's a little cemetery. And Zeta is the mother in that. It's a family plot. And they had owned a large ranch here. And the park was their part of their property, and so they had their family cemetery in the park, and so the family cemetery stays there, and it's a county park. In 1918, Zeta buried 6 of her children there. 6 from the Spanish flu. And I kind of go back there to the Spanish flu of 1918, and you know what, I bet it wasn't the same for a couple of years. I bet things were different. And I understand that. And I'm just kind of like, okay, all right, it's just going to be different. So, in the midst of that, the song by Kirk came on, I Smile. And as I listened to that song, it reminded me, as heavy as my heart is, Jesus has it, and I'm good. And so the ways I've been feeling like my ears and my heart and my soul, um, I listened to, I think it's Albert Moyer on the Briefing. He's a podcast he does, and it's a Christian world perspective. And so he gives you kind of current events, what's going on with a biblical worldview. It's a very to the point, gentle, no hellfire, brimstone, stuff like that. It's just like, hey, here's what's going on. And here's things to know, and here's things to think about. And one of the things he said, pretty sure, yeah, he said it, was the thing about Christians is we grieve differently, and we grieve. And I think that's kind of what I had today. I grieved our country. I grieved the vulnerable. I grieved the overworked, and I grieved the fearful this morning. But I grieved it with hope. And that's kind of different than most. I grieved it in hope. So, and then I was okay. Then I cried my morning. I smiled. I knew Jesus had my heart, and I grieved in hope, and I grieved, and I was good. So that was kind of how I've been dealing. And I know this is like, wow, Trish, thanks. That's great. That's great. I'm tired. I've been able to keep myself busy. It's not bringing out the best side of me. God has done a wonderful job softening my hard edges. And to a point of being a little bit, I've allowed it to be a little bit destructive in the years, because I might think what I think, but I don't say what I think. And in my youth, I would lay it out there, and I didn't mind who it bothered. Maybe in my youth, before Jesus, I enjoyed who it bothered. And now I spend a lot of times of not saying things that I would like, that I'm thinking, because I don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. More of a conscious of not wanting to hurt others. In saying that, my butt is exhausted, and there's nothing more frustrating than people who are like, I can't sew. Oh, I just don't get it. Can I give you money and you make me a mask? And I'm like, how about you get on YouTube and learn to sew? You have a machine, learn to sew. Well, you're not being very nice. It's like, you know what? Right now, it's not about money. It's about keeping people safe. And I'm making these masks. I'm giving them to the hospital workers. Can you be part of this? Can you help be part of this? And Then I had one I had to listen. I didn't have to listen to, but I guess I enjoyed listening to a discussion today on Facebook as the world turns. Um, Somebody complaining the number. I know I'm probably losing people. Are like, done with you. Um, People complaining about folks that are sewing masks and charging. I'm gonna tell you, if I charged for my mask, it'd be $10, and you can buy one for 5, but I would charge $10 because I know the quality I put in it. Um, I'm not charging for masks though, and I'm not gonna even begin doing it because that's not what God put in my heart. But I've dealt with some people that needed masks for their company or for their stuff, and they're a pain in the butt to deal with. Like, they wanted me because they felt like they were paying for them. It was my job now to run around and find them to give it to them. Well, my thinking is if I did that, then that's time I'm not sewing, and that's the best good. If you need these, you need to come get them. And I'm still not going to charge you for them. It got to be such a pain in the butt. And I found a mama on there, and she wasn't she was charging $5. I still don't think it was enough. And she was sewing masks, and she's like, I'm out of work. I'm a single mom. I'm sewing these masks for this much money. I took her post and started sharing it. And I'm like, for all these people that want one or two masks, go buy them from this person, or 4 or 5, whatever. Go buy them from this person, because that's, you know, I guess they're social distancing up there in the air. I don't mind. Um, my sister is giving hers away free. And that's just it. Like, for those that are called on their heart, I assume by God, to make these and give them away, that's our job to do. And those who are making them and selling them, that's what they need to do. And you know what? Us people who are making them and giving them away, we're a pain in the butt to deal with. That's just how it is. And we get to be a pain in the butt because we're giving them away. And if you feel as though you can't work with us on that, or we're not working with you, then go buy one and give that money to somebody who needs it. And that's like my little soapbox on that. And I will tell you this is my rant. This is where it turns into a vent. Because a couple times I wanted to get on here and just vent, and I'm like, step it back. The first 2 weeks I'd get so aggravated. So my mask have no elastic. None. Um, oh, she gave you one. See, yes, God provides. Isn't that awesome? And they really need the money right now. I agree. My masks don't have elastic. They don't. I've shown pictures of what my mask looks like. My Facebook close friends are sending me things about putting buttons on them. I was involved in a social service meeting yesterday, and we were very concerned of the children in compromised family situations not being able to get out to school and be with the safe teachers. Oh my goodness, yeah, that has been a conversation. That one's hard. I've enjoyed I've enjoyed the middle school PE teacher does a Zoom meeting like once or twice, and she does wellness checks, and it has been, you know, to get and see and observe on that has been a heartwarming. And when we go to stores, can't we wear bandanas? Yeah. Um, and the state is trying to prepare the children of parents. So I just kind of had a vent because I would get messages. Now you need to make this. And I'm like, don't tell the makers what to make. That's been kind of like my handle. The makers are going to make. The makers aren't looking for you to manage them. If the makers need help, they're going to ask for help. If you're not a maker, don't decide what the makers make. Unless you're a recipient and that's in your plan with each other. But I would have all these non-makers are telling me I need to buy headbands and this is what I need to do next. And I'm like, well, my masks don't need that. And the people need my mask. They don't need headbands with buttons. And I'm like, why don't you make that? Oh my goodness. Well, I don't have a sewing machine. Well, go buy one. Somebody will give you one. There's people who don't want to sew that will give you their sewing machine. I don't know how to use one. Get on YouTube and learn. Um, I feel like the main part is like learn to thread your machine, learn to put the bobbin in, and then sew. And learn, how to do the dials. I could probably do a video on that, but I probably won't have time. So those are the things that are going on in my head. I'm so thankful to have the morning with you. I do want to show you work for us, right? And I mean, I think it's just a line of defense, getting the keeping the things, and it's more about containing your garbage in you. And if you're sick, don't go out. A friend, a high school band teacher, has created 2 funny social distancing and quarantine parodies. They are light-hearted and will make you smile. Yeah, post the link. I'm hoping that's good enough for quick trips to the store, but I can't find it. But I could sew one. Yeah. I have one for my family. Like the lunch ladies that hand out the lunch, we go and get the lunch from school. It gives a sense of normalcy to my kids and emotional support. They don't get out of the van. Everybody stays in the seat. They put it through the window. You love the tree behind me? I know. Look at this. Let me see if I can show you. See the creek? So that's one tree. That's one tree. That's another. And then there's one right there. I'm going to show you my garden that I've got going and tell you a little story on that before I get off here. And the ladies were using bandanas and my heart just broke because like they're the most vulnerable. And that's what scares me the most is some of our lowest paid people are put in the most vulnerable situations. So I went home and got them mask, and today I'm going to deliver another mask. So like when they go grocery shopping, they've got mask. All right, so let me turn this camera around. So here is my pitiful looking seed trays, and I hate to tell you, but they did look like this, and my husband moved them with the lid on and put them in the direct sun and killed everything a couple weeks back. So what I have here are things that hadn't germinated yet. So I have a couple. So these are marigolds here. These are tomatillos. I have a little dill back here. I don't think you can see. I have a little dill leaf there. Some tomatillos, and I have one cantaloupe. I did find moringa seeds, so I did go back and replant moringa seeds here. And then I think I planted habaneros here, so let's hope that they germinate. So my husband in his guilt went and bought me 3 new trays. So I think I planted cantaloupe here or cucumbers and tomatoes. And I'm not sure if this one just germinated early and everybody else has yet to germinate. Something is not acting right here. All right, so here we have zinnias, this side. And over here is a form of lettuce. So I haven't figured out how I'm going to plant the lettuce because the heat will make them not grow. But I've got to figure out a safe place to plant those. And then these, I believe, are cucumbers, tomatoes, cucumbers, tomatoes. But so I'm not sure because these tomatoes have sprouted, all but one. I'm pretty impressed with the germination rate. Oh, zinnias make you, thank you. Tomatillos get huge, right? So I'm not sure like why I only have one here and what happened to the rest. So there's one of my trays from him melting. My 4 cantaloupes survived. And then I have some tomatoes that have some other tomatoes that have come up. This is a yellow pear tomato, so I haven't had that before. And then see, I have like 2 lettuces that finally germinated. This was a 4-H project we had, and I still have some of the kids' 4-H succulences. All right, so bad mom me. The kids had a 4-H. The little guys had like a peewee. I am in Florida. I am zone 9. I'm on the border of zone 9 and 10. So the road is about 3 miles from me that cuts you Um, I hate to be the one convicting you. I hate to be the deliverer, the messenger. Learn to use your sewing machine. Please learn to use your sewing machine, even if it's just basic, because I'm telling you, the masks I make are 8 straight stitches. It is very easy to sew them. I'm cracking up. Makers are going to make what the makers make. That's about true. So, we had these garden dish projects, which these are Dollar Tree dishes. And my son's was a salsa pot. So, like, here's his little tomato plant. Here's a few onions. And this here, little bad boy, is what a squirrel ate, but it was a pepper. We never got them to the fair, which I'm so glad we didn't, because in the exhibit hall, they all died. All the plants died. So we have this little cute one here. And then this is what's left of my daughter's. Hers was all flowers, and we didn't do a very good job of it. All right, here's a tomato plant. We finally planted up. It's going like crazy. And then we have a mint. And then this is just my daughter, my one daughter made this tray for me that we filled up so I could do these microgreens, but I haven't been impressed with the microgreens because I did this spacing 1 inch apart like they said. Have you liked having your kids back? I recently put my kids back in school when you did. It's been nice having them back home, but I think they did good in school too. I love having my kids home. I won't lie. I've had no problems. I think she was in her room working. Huh. So I planted them the way they have, but they've been very not easy to grow. Like, I think they should have been harvested by now, and like they're still sprouting. And I stuck my little mint plant in here, and I've got to do something soon because look, I got roots out the side, but it's been safe to put there. And then my husband killed his fishing worms, but I had one little bit left, so I have some fishing worms kind of stuck in there too. But this has worked out nice. So my thought was I could do some microgreens or even my lettuce in there. And this is my daughter's poor little plant, Dorothy. So she did a 4-H demo the second Monday of March. And it's called a brown bag demo. And she planted on how to plant a seed. So she planted the seed and Dorothy grew. Beautifully grew. And we hit the Dollar Tree and we found this nice, beautiful little pot. Filled it up and put Dorothy in. Dorothy looks a little sad. The goat ate Dorothy. So the goat ate Dorothy. All these little spots she ate. Not here. This wasn't here. She ate all those spots and pulled Dorothy out of the pot because Dorothy had only been in this pot about 2 days. Dorothy got yanked out of the pot. We quickly replanted Dorothy and put Dorothy, and we waited for the mother of Dorothy, to find her. And the tears rolled down. And we said, don't worry. We just put her in the pot. We keep her safe. And she took her a couple days and she came back. So she's coming back again. Then we have this big pot. I know, a tour of my little micro garden. And we had some onions that we bought and we forgot to do anything with them. And so this is my soil mix, and I just kind of stuck them in here and seeing what's happened, and we got a little onion going. So my long-term thinking is the ones that I find out are viable, we will keep and we'll transplant them out, and the ones that aren't viable, and I'm going to do some garlic that way too. And then we have some tomato plants that were given to us, and I think that's a cantaloupe plant. I know, just a boring little, let me show you my garden, but I'm going to take you out to the big garden, and then we're going to call it a day. Just because I got to get back to work and we have things to do. Some of us are going to learn how to use our sewing machine, right? It's a tool. You can work a washing machine, you can work a blender, you can work all the other stuff. You can work a sewing machine, I promise. It's not that complicated. You might have to find the manual on how to use your things. So I have the goats are crying. We've been letting the goats out eating trees. And that's been working out nice. And we move them from time to time. But we got to relay out the fencing. All right, so let me take you on. See, there's the goats if you can see them. It's not very far of a walk. And let me move it back around, I'll show you. So this is the garden spot that I've used over the years, and I've done them a bit different. I'm only planted to here, so I still have this to plant with the seeds I've started. And here I've direct sowed, and one of the things I did different, it's hard to see, even it's hard for me to see, not on video, but I've actually made a walkway through, and then I have different things, and I already forgot what it is, and it looks like my things have done. So I have some sunflowers, and that's watering the corn, and then I was gifted some watermelon shoots right there, and the pigs are in the back. All right, I gotta flip it around because I can't see very well, but that's kind of what's going on here. Me and my lighthearted and heavy-hearted thoughts as I give you. I'll go in the shade so I can see. I'm gonna leave you in prayer. I'm gonna get back to doing my thing. I'm thinking about y'all, and I hope you're well and you're doing well. All right. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time we get to come together, dear Lord. Thank you for speaking to our hearts in this time of noise and helping us find silence. Lord, for those that are having a hard time finding the calm in the storm, dear Lord, let them lean upon you. Lord, speak to their heart and bring them calm. Dear Lord, we know you're a light upon our feet, and you're lighting up the way for our next step. It is scary. Lord, it's so scary, but we have you to depend on. Dear Lord, bring hope to the hopeless. Bring food to the hungry. Bring nourishment to the starving in their souls and their bodies and their minds. In your Son's precious name I pray. Amen. All right, I hope y'all have a good day. I will talk to you sooner than later, but there's no guarantees when, because that's how real life goes. I'll be with you soon. All right. Bye. Oh my goodness, Ariel, I just seen that. Oh, did I hide you? I didn't mean to hide you. Did I hide somebody? I hope not. They stopped the school food here in St. Louis after 2 bus drivers died of COVID-19. Oh, bless their hearts. I'm so sad by that. All right, I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.